There is something deeply unsettling about a story you think you already know. We grow up with familiar heroes, familiar villains, moral lines drawn in bold ink that nobody questions. We inherit versions of epics that feel settled, almost sacred in their certainty. And then, once in a while, a book comes along and quietly asks a dangerous question. What if the villain had a voice? What if he had always been speaking and we just never stopped to listen? Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Nikhil and today's conversation is about exactly that. The book is Asura by Mr. Anand Neelakantan. Now, before you think, oh, it's another Ramayana retelling, stay with me please, because this is not that. This is something far more uncomfortable, far more honest, and honestly, far more necessary. Mr. Neelakantan takes the Ramayana, one of the most beloved and sacred epics in Indian culture, and does something remarkably bold with it. He hands the microphone to Ravana. Not Ravan, the 10-headed demon king we were taught to fear and dismiss, but Ravan the man, Ravan the thinker, Ravan the ruler, Ravan the person shaped by rejection, brilliance, wounds, and an ambition so fierce it consumed everything around it. And what emerges is not a defense of a villain, it is something far more interesting. It's a mirror. History is always written by those who survived. This book asks, what about those who don't survive? Let me paint you a picture of what this book builds. Lanka in this story is not just a golden kingdom, it is a living, breathing civilization. Along with politics, with class division, with ambitions and fractures, and the kind of messy, complicated humanity that great epics usually flatten out. And at the center of it all is the Ravana. His journey begins not in the darkness, but in the difficulty, rejection, humiliation, the feeling of being looked past by a world that has already decided what he is worth. And from that, slowly, painfully, ambition is born. What grips you as a reader is that every single step of his rise feels emotionally motivated. This is not evil for the sake of evil. This is ego born out of wounds. This is the pride built brick by brick over years of humiliation. This is the slow, almost inevitable transformation of pain into destiny. And watching that transformation is both fascinating and deeply unsettling. Because somewhere along the way you realize you understand him, maybe more than you expected to. Monsters are rarely born in darkness. Most of them are sculpted slowly, by exclusion, by insult, by the stories they begin telling themselves when nobody else is listening. Here's what separates Asura from every other mythological retelling I have come across. Most revisionist retellings are content to simply flip the narrative, make the villain sympathetic, make the hero questionable, job done. Mr. Neelakantan is not satisfied with that. What he does instead is constantly play with the idea of truth itself. The same event, the same moment, it can feel noble from one side and devastating from another. And because of that, you are never allowed the comfort of easy judgment in this book. Even the familiar characters, the ones you grew up knowing, feel different here. Seen through Ravan's emotional lenses, they carry a new mystery. Motives become layered, intentions become debatable. The questions this book keeps raising about dharma, identity, caste, legitimacy, power, legacy, they don't announce themselves loudly. They surface quietly, like embers under ash. You don't always notice them until you are already thinking about them long after you have put down the book. And that philosophical hum running beneath the accessible storytelling, that's where Asura earns its place as something genuinely important. The most dangerous stories are not the ones that tell you what to think. They are the ones that make you question what you have always assumed. There is a moment in this book, and I won't tell you exactly when it happens, where you catch yourself. You realize you have been rooting for Ravan, not blindly, not without reservations, but genuinely. Emotionally, you want things to go well for him. And that moment of self awareness is uncomfortable in the best possible way because it forces you to ask, what does it say about me? About how I consume stories? And how easily I adopt the perspective I am handed to without examining them. That is the gray zone Asura invites you into. And once you are in it, there is no clean way out. This book never asks you to agree with Ravan. It never asks you to rewrite your understanding of the Ramayana or abandon the version you grew up with. It only asks you to sit with the discomfort of understanding someone you were taught not to. And that, to me, is where this book becomes more than the mythology. It becomes a thinking exercise on perspective, on memory, on how the stories we inherit shape the way we see the world. The hero of one memory is very often the villain of another, and great literature, at its very best, gives both of them the seat at the table. By the time I closed Asura, what lingered with me was not Ravan the legend. It was Ravan the human, the version of a person that emerges when intelligence meets hurt, when greatness meets ego, when the desperate need to be remembered becomes stronger than the need to be understood. That portrait stayed with me for days. Should you read Asura? If you enjoy the mythological fiction, yes. If you are drawn to morally complex characters, absolutely yes. If you ever felt like the official version of the story was missing something, this book was written exactly for you. And if you love the Shiva trilogy, Asura will feel like a natural and deeply satisfying next step. The same rich Indian mythological world, completely different emotional territory. Go in without expectations. Go in ready for the discomfort and empathy and the strange, unsettling experience of understanding someone you were taught not to. Don't go in looking for answers. Go in ready to question yourself. And with that, me Nikhil, signing off. We will meet again soon with another book, another quiet conversation, and another cup of coffee. Until then, take care. If you get some value from this video, please do consider subscribing to the channel. Share this video with a fellow reader and keep turning the page. I thank you very much.